Welcome to Timber&Terra. I'm Glenn, and this project is reclaiming my driveway, which isn't in really too bad a shape as far as functionality, but I do have a lot of grass that sort of crept in where we don't normally drive. And what typically happens with gravel driveways, you can see here where the tires go, it compacts and sort of pushes gravel to the center and to the sides. And what happens during rain, then this sort of becomes a little bit of a riverbed. I have a small clip of what that looks like. It's not a heavy rain, but I'll show you that now. Really not raining that hard, but you can get the idea that the water runs down the driveway, and then there's a little bit that comes here from this side of the town road, but the driveway water adds to it, and sometimes it'll wash this little corner out, and then there's the ditch there. So I've marked out with the orange lines where the driveway should be. This one here, you can see right there, it's straight, and then about somewhere right around there, it takes a little bit of turn to the left. Because if I had gone perpendicular to the face of the garage and the house all the way down here, we would have ended up right here at my feet, so sort of almost center of the driveway. So, and when we come out of the driveway, we're always turning this way anyhow, so it makes sense to have a wider turn. I'm sure that's why it's there. So I decided to sort of follow, where the tracks are anyhow, and then, just sort of circle around here close to the mailbox. On this side, since that's a dead end, rarely do we come from this direction, although if I park my dump truck there, it will back in here. That's where all these tire marks really come from. It's more recently backing my dump truck in. The culvert's there, so really all this could be gravel to make a really wide turn. So I may even encroach upon here a bit more than my line has it, sort of just eyeball the curve here, depending on how things look when I dig it out. So you can see here clearly where the grass is just sort of crept into the driveway. More so over here because we rarely park here, sort of just a turnaround spot, or if we have visitors they might park here, but the driveway actually is to the left of that dotted line. Here I just eyeballed sort of a circular motion. If you took the square, point the square from this one and this one, it would end up right there. So obviously that's not going to work because everyone drives over there anyhow, including myself. So underneath here is all gravel, but the grass has just started to grow in it. So here's the corner of the driveway, and it goes basically right between the dogs, almost to the bucket of the tractor. Again, this at one point was all gravel. I really haven't touched this driveway for probably, I'd say 20 years, about the same time that we put the garage on, which was about 20 years ago. So here I finally cleaned up a little bit of my steel, which is there. That's another project. So I'll just scrape this off and then basically come off the corner of the house, and then this will all be gravel, or reclaimed gravel as well. So this is a mix of a bunch of things. This is metal recycling to take care of. That's just trash, got to go to the dump. These steel posts, as well as the steel, part of that steel I'm going to use to make a steel rack, so I can store that miscellaneous steel, more of the shorter pieces, which is what typically I have for extra stuff lying around, not this full 24-foot stuff, as well as these steel poles, which most of that will be used for snow fence in the wintertime, so I just need a place to store it during the summer. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is put that on my bucket, because I'm not going to use a tooth bucket because I will dig down further than I need to and just dig up more stuff than I need to. Well, the only problem with this is I built this basically on here because these teeth are not straight. You can probably see there's a little bit of a curve to them. So they fit, but I haven't put this on for quite a while, and if the teeth bend, and I've done some welding since, you can see some cracks that I welded, which probably didn't help my my cause any. So if I can put this on enough at least to put 1 or 2 pins in, you know, there's really no force trying to drag it out this way. Everything is going to sort of be pushing it in, but just so I don't lift the bucket up and have it fall off, it'd be nice to have a pin or 2 in. So these teeth here were the ones that came on this rig when I bought it. I guess I've had it 9 years now or so. And they needed to be replaced. You can see how short they are. So I said, well, if I'm going to build one of these, I'll just use the old teeth that are basically needed to be replaced anyhow. So I just put the plates on, welded them in place. You can see here some of the spacing that I used to account for the fact that this is curved a little bit. Yeah, I think instead of trying to force this in, because you can see over here there's a small gap, over here there's a small gap, the middle 3 there's a big gap. So what I think I should do, basically cut these off. I probably wouldn't put pins in the middle ones anyhow because they're sort of hard to access. Just the pins on the ends is all I need. And I'll still have the face of this tooth here to provide support, but I think it'll make it a lot easier. So close. So, let's see. At least on this middle one, the tip is hitting. So it appears at least this one might be hitting on this corner here. So the die grinder generally works really well, but these teeth are hardened and it does not work nearly as well on these teeth as it does on mild steel. So I'll get the torch out again and sort of take out a little bit more of this material. I did quite a bit more cutting here. Basically cut all the ends off so the tip wouldn't touch anything. And I'm very close, I think close enough where I'm going to try to stick the pins in. But it looks like it's sprung a little bit because even the side ones are not completely lined up. Fits loosely, but pin should not come out. So there it is. It did. It fit nicely. I wouldn't say just barely. There's probably a little room to spare with, you know, a little bit more pressure against the side of the pin, but looks good. You can see here now that there was no chance that I was going to be able to put that in without modifying these 3 middle ones. Someday I'll have a ditching bucket, perhaps with an angle, eliminate the need for this switchover, which obviously can be a little bit time consuming. So I'm just looking here really just to scrape the vegetation off. There should be decent gravel underneath. You can see it there. It's I think it's probably half 1/2 inch or 3/4 inch crushed gravel, if I remember right, but this was 15 years ago or more, 20 years ago. I'm not going to let this gravel go to waste. I'll use this for some of my woods roads. So it looks to be 1.5 inches gravel, but I did notice there's fabric here. I don't remember putting fabric down. I guess I did. I don't think it's really needed, particularly now after so many years of being compacted. There it is, you can see it. So underneath, looks like I just topped it with pressure run gravel. So underneath I think was just sort of less expensive bank run gravel. Might have been some of that stuff that I use from the town when they clean out ditches, so it would be sand and gravel and vegetation. That might have been why I put the fabric down. I'll try not to take the fabric up, just leave it down there. There's the fabric. Well, the fabric has put a little bit of a wrinkle into my plan here. I thought it was going to be a lot easier than this. Then as I'm digging over there behind the trailer, this is a pressure treated 1x6 that I had put to separate the driveway from the grass, so at least I'm sort of digging in the same location as the original separation between the lawn and the grass. So there's my line there. So my plan is, obviously just bring it up to grass level here, which is for the most part just a couple inches. Bring it up to the level of this concrete. And then over here, which I don't know if it's if it just settled or if I just never brought it up, but I want this level here and then level with the bottom of the garage door. So I don't really have to take anything here. I'm just going to add 4 inches or so and then slope it away to meet up with the grass. So the fabric that was that I could lay down and stand a chance of not ripping up again, I sort of left down there. Stuff that was easy to take out, I'll just take out and throw away in the trash with the rest of that stuff. And then a couple pieces made it into there, and it'll just be a permanent fixture of my woods road. Alright, I'll move the trailer. Same with the center of the driveway. I'm not going to do anything with that. Just take off the grass here along the edge where the line is. Well, the majority of the parking area, well, I guess all of the sort of the parking area is done. This little strip of grass here that runs basically all the way to the road is just sort of grass that's sort of overgrown where the driveway used to be, and it's higher, so all I really need to do is just scrape it off to about the same level as the driveway, and I should be good to go. And then probably when I get to this little curve that I mentioned earlier, that I'm not even going to worry about that little bit of grass. I'll just, because this is quite a dip right here, just fill it up. Over here I'll take a little bit more out, and particularly down here I think I'll clean this up all the way basically to the culvert, because I have a lot more turning radius here that I'm really not using. I do have some utilities. This goes down, it sort of runs along the driveway and then goes across, but that's I think at least 2 feet deep or a foot deep, but I'm only digging here maybe 3 or 4 inches, so I'm not too worried about it. you saw that. That was pretty dumb of me. I forgot I had my blade down, and then when I backed up, I ripped up a lot of sod. So sort of put it back. I tracked it over. I will likely have to put some topsoil along the edge of this anyhow. So at the same time, I just sort of scraped off the center of that hump, you know, between the wheel tracks, and spread that out a bit. So really now the only thing I have to do is where the excavator is, where the road meets the driveway, and then this little section of dirt here. Well, this is basically all ready. I have neatened up the edges by hand, taking up the extra sod and you know, cutting in a little bit where I missed the orange mark. There's my rookie mistake right there. We did get a little bit of rain since we were out here last, so I want to make sure when I finish this I don't have puddles like that. But because I had the issue with the that straight edge, or whatever you want to call it, on my my bucket, this video is a bit longer than I was thinking it would be. So we will end this, and part 2 will be spreading that plant mix on here. I'm guessing probably 2 or 3 truckloads to do that. And you can watch me struggle with yet another piece of equipment, which would be my tractor and box blade. So thanks for watching this video. I appreciate it, and I hope you stay tuned for part 2 of this.